the statement or the phrase that states that laugh kuno and be happy. This is for me. This is a relevant message, no, not just in this time of pandemic for all of us, but even in my own personal life, that um, we need always to find time to laugh and be happy, because um, this is one way of releasing the toxic emotions, the toxic feelings that has been haunting us, even me in my personal life every day. So I have to make this laughter and happiness always come together every day, because this is my outlet uh, from the stresses of life that has been giving me almost every day. So I have to laugh and be happy. Thank you. And I am currently the HRMO designate of the Maasin City Campus, and also the faculty president sa Maasin City Campus. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning.
Welcome. Basta makakita na ta, Daryl, makatawa na ta, because he spread love of laughter. Okay. Let's move on to another Maasin representative. Yes, Ma'am Jay. Ma'am Jay. Okay.
How do I know?
Yeah.
So, good morning, everyone. I am Jessa Muldes, a social work faculty of SLSU Maasin City Campus. My colleagues fondly called me Ma'am Jai. So, the picture that struck me the most is listening is the loudest form of kindness. So, kanang why ko no, pang universe, pang Miss Universe. Kuan. Because I know, because we as teachers, no, we often talk, no, we often teach our students. We have a lot of time to talk, but as a person, that is us as a teacher. But as a person, are we there to listen to our colleagues, to our students, to our friends? So, andam bata mamati sa ilang mga frustrations sa kinabuhi, sa struggles sa kinabuhi. So, I think being there, being just there to listen is, I think, the loudest form of kindness. Kaya bisan wala kay gisulti, but you offer your listening ears to let them vent out their emotions. That's already a big thing. And because we are talking about mental health, so kana no dako na kaadyo na nga thing atong mabuhat sa atong mga kaubanan, mga amigo, mga pamilya, estudyante, kaubanan sa trabaho, when we just listen. So more no. Thank you and good morning.
And then you are a registered social worker. Okay. So when you have to need listening ear, Jessa will be there. Okay. So how about another from Maasin, Ma'am Yana, our assistant director. Ma'am Yan.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, my name is Lorena Mercado, fondly called Yana. And I choose for today's chamani tawag ani ma'am?
Pwede ra quotes, pwede ra sad inspirational messages.
Okay. So I choose, if you carry joy in your heart, you can heal any moment. So if you are happy with yourself and then contented na ka and you have at peace with yourself, then there's no bad blood in you, and you can share or radiate this joy and happiness to others as well. That's all.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Makapil ko tag mawa ng pandemic with you, ma'am. Di ba? Makawa dyan sa
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to next. Who is ready there? Nanay ready? Akong tawagon ha, kay di man lagi mo mutubag basi kung wala diha. Sir Rad sa atong unahon, Sir Rad. And then the wife, Ma'am Colleen, para Mr. and Mrs.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Conrad. I am one of the staff here in SLSU MCC, and I choose this particular quote: "Laugh and be happy," just like Sir Darrell. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Magkuyog gid mo ha kay para madaghan na ubay-ubay. Thank you, Rad. And welcome to Miss Colleen.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am.
Hello,
Hi,
morning.
hi mga ma'am og sir. Good morning. I
Mm,
am Colina Escoro Mercado.
okay.
And then my colleagues usually call me Colleen. Or I choose to be called Colleen. For me, by the way, I am the designated guidance counselor for Maasin City Campus. Kaning quote nga akong gi-choose is, let's paint the whole world kind. Na kay kana I believe nga if kanang you are always kind, especially sa mga tao nga imong katransak, kita nga wa ra bata kahibaw sa ilang giagian, at least kanang if we treat them with kindness, at least we will not add to their burden. So ingan na. So mara
Okay.
tingali po. Good morning everyone
Good
again.
morning. Murag na anay maggrupo-grupo ani because they have the same, no, the same flow and passion of compassion of self. So how about Renalyn? Are you there already? Renalyn Bagtasus? Wala pa si Ma'am Renang. So kung wala pa mo on board, how about Sir Peter Dadios? Are you there now, sir? Wala pa. Ma'am Abigail Banyo. Ma'am Abigail. Wala pa po. How about Ma'am Carol Balad? Carol Balad? Wala. Sir Gregorio Damlers. Sir Gregorio Damlers. Wala pa po. Sir Alex Mabuhay. Wala pa po. Sir Gordon Opina. Wala sad. Reynaldo Paler. Ma'am Mercy Hadrake from Buntok na ana. Sir Raven Radores. Oligario Adesna. Adesna. How about Sir Aris Rex Espinas? I'm sure na ana ni si Sir. Sir Aris, are you there? Evelyn Guasa? Wala po. Ma'am Elmi Joy, are you now here on board? Ma'am Irene Carbonilia? Ma'am Lilian Balbon? So, wala man. How about, can we hear also from our Chief Administrator, Dr. Warren Cordeta, please, to choose your quote? Sir Warren, naana ka?
Hello, Ma'am Tel. Yes, Ma'am Tel. Murag
Na-busy.
nabahin ang akong kuan.
Una-una.
Naminaw og naay gi in a way. Sige, Ma'am, hindi ko sa Ma'am, no?
Oo.
Kanila ako amang kining happiness lies in the joy of achievement and the thrill of creative effort. Love and be happy.
Wow. Sige,
So,
sir.
of course, it will reflect in one's personality, ma'am, if unsa gani imong pakita, whatever you show to others as a person, it will reflect yourself at it. And of course, kung being happy, makita magid na kung ba happy ka. Otherwise, your personality at all if not happy, makita pod. So, it will really count a lot by just way of looking at the person, whether the person indeed is at good shape or not at all. But of course, as we say, laugh out loud. Okay? So,
Yeah.
para everything will be okay. So, happiness indeed is always on top of the everything. Okay? So that everything will be okay as we go along with our daily lives.
Yes,
Laugh
sir.
and be happy.
Mao di ay, sir. Mao di ay. Mao di ang namugna ni. Okay. Now, since others are not coming in yet, or are we going now to start, sir? Because I'm still
Okay.
waiting for Mama Bell.
All right, Mom. Thank you so much. I believe we, some of us already had our self introduction and also sharing of beautiful thoughts for today. Now, before we officially start, again, good to all the participants. Good morning. I hope you all are doing great. Again, my name is Conrad, and I am your also your moderator for today for this webinar. And this webinar will talk about Pagtagad program. This is a university mental health program for faculty and staff. In line to the pursuant of Republic Act number 11036, otherwise known as Mental Health Act or MHA of 2018, and its implementing rules and regulations and CSC Memorandum Circular number 04 series of 2020. Now, an in-depth discussion as to the reason why and the purpose why we are conducting this webinar, Pagtagad program, will be discussed more in one of the parts of the program, that specifically the statement of purpose. Now, speaking about program, let me just give you a short overview of the flow of our program today. First, this program, by the way, will run 3-hour stops. It will start with an audio visual presentation of a prayer, national anthem, and then to be followed by our university hymn. After that is going to be our welcome message, and then the statement of purpose, to be followed by the orientation proper that will include it includes 3 talks all in all. First talk would be about the university mental health policies and programs. The second talk is strategies, protocols, and processes. And then the third one, or the third talk, would be about the responsibilities, reporting, requirements, and monitoring. And after that is going to be our open forum. That will be the time that you will provide your suggestions or raise a point of inquiry, a point of clarification, or questions. And then after that, after the open forum, we will have our second round of photo shoot. So I will be requiring you all guys to turn on your webcam so that your beautiful and handsome faces will be seen during the screenshots. All right. And last thing, by the way, just a short netiquette for this webinar of ours. To avoid unnecessary interruptions, please turn off your microphone during the presentation run. Even if you are in listening mode, check that your webcam is also off. And also, let us observe in this particular webinar, let us observe the Gender and Development God program as um, a development perspective in a process that is participatory, empowering, equitable, sustainable, free from violence, respectful of human rights, supportive of self-determination and actualization of human potentials. All right, that's it. I believe we are ready to officially start our webinar, sir. Rani? Go ahead.
To Jesus, I surrender all. To Him I freely give. I will ever love and trust in His presence daily. I to Jesus, I surrender. Humbly at His feet I bow. Worldly pleasures all forsake and take me, Jesus, take me now. I Southern Lady State University, we come to you with our hands up high. We raise our voices loud and clear. All hail to you, alma mater dear. As we leave you, dear alma mater, your name our hearts will bear. With pride and success we bring to humanity, we share everything. We always remember you for making our dreams come true. The teachings you instill in us, in you we breathe the purpose high. All hail to thee as you dear, yonder stands the shining bow. With dedication, trust and loyalty will raise the banner, together we shall. All hail to thee as you dear, who live to your grateful hearts. We pledge to give you honor and cheer to you, alma mater dear. As we leave you, dear alma mater, your name our hearts will bear. With pride and success we bring to humanity, we share everything. We always remember you for making our dreams come true. The teachings you instill in us, in you we breathe the purpose high. All hail to thee as you dear, yonder stands the shining bow. With dedication, trust and loyalty will raise the banner, together we shall. All hail to thee as you dear, who live to your grateful heart. We pledge to give you honor and cheer. All hail, all hail, all hail, alma mater
Thank you for that, Sir Rani. Now, for our welcome message, let us hear our very own University Vice President for Administration and Finance, Ms. Mabel R. Calda.
Thank you, Radfrad. Good morning, colleagues in SLSU.
Morning, Mom.
Morning, ma'am.
Hi, good
Hi, good
morning.
Good
morning.
morning, ma'am.
Kanina, I wish to join sana the icebreaker activity. That was very good, Ma'am Ma'am Stella. And I would have picked
Yes, Mom.
the quote, listening is the loudest form of kindness.
Opo.
So that could have been my pick because for me, that's the value and virtue that I held because of the fact nga I have an my personality is inclined not to introvert, so it would be hard for me to start a conversation than to listen, no? To start a conversation and to sustain that conversation. So it's easier for me to listen. And for me also, I believe that while there are people who want to talk, there are also people who would love to be heard. So kana siya, and there are times na we just love to to be heard, no. I mean to hear from others who would love to talk. So that would be my pick, Mom. But anyway, uh, for this activity, I'd like to start this message with a few statistics regarding the pandemic having a considerable impact on mental health locally and globally. So when this pandemic started last year, the World Health Organization had an estimate that depression and anxiety will cost the global economy of around 1 trillion dollars per year in lost productivity. So that's according to World Health Organization. Now, according to our very own Department of Health, mental illness is the third most common disability in the country, and around 6 million Filipinos are estimated to live with depression and or anxiety. So it's making this fact makes the Philippines the country with the third highest rate of mental health problems in the Western Pacific region. Now, the pandemic has further impacted mental health in groups such as older adults, the healthcare providers who take care of the patients, then people also with underlying health conditions, and most of us are part of this group of people. And many, even maybe our relatives, had their livelihoods affected. And most of us, if not all, are also worried about keeping our families safe. So these are just the many reasons why we need to take extra care now when it comes to mental health. So the Department of Health was calling for a unified response to mental health, and of course for the employers in the industry and even in the public sector to provide mental health services to their employees. Now, in our context, if we would recall, it was in October of last year when the university management felt the strong need for an intervention that would address the mental health of our colleagues who have been reported anonymously, for to have been affected by the impacts of the pandemic. So initially, we thought of that need to be peculiar only in the main campus, so that the intervention that we thought of would be only on short terms. And so a team that's headed by Sir Warren has been mandated to craft a program that will help address this concern. However, as the team progresses in its endeavor of crafting this program, it turned out that the program could be packaged to address holistically the issues and concerns that each one of us in the entire university might be experiencing in this trying time. And not only that, with the good insights also of our colleagues in the academic and administrative councils, this Pagtagad program has evolved into a beautiful program for every colleague. So in behalf of the university management, I'd like to express our deep appreciation to Dr. Warren Cordeta, our Chief Administrative Officer, for spearheading the conceptualization of this program, and also to Ma'am Stella Abaa and Sir Daryl James Valdez for their expert services, which they have had graciously extended to Sir Warren in this undertaking. And so you have made a good teamwork, the three of you, of course, with the assistance of our human resources management officers. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ninyo.
Yes.
And so we are happy that finally this day has come, and the presence of each one of us makes us all very glad. So we've got this opportunity to learn about the SLSU's Pagtagad program and how we can optimally benefit from this program. And also, it's my pleasure to extend a cheerful welcome to you all. And above all, it is my hope and prayer that all of us will be the champion, no? Champion in the effective implementation of this laudable program. And also champions in taking care of our mental health and that of our beloved colleagues. So I think that would be all. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for the efforts, no, that you have shared, no, for this particular program. So good morning, and let's enjoy this activity. Let's enjoy learning from this activity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you so
Thank you, Mama
much.
Bell, for that very inspiring, very welcoming, and very informative welcome message. Now, for our statement of purpose, let us hear Dr. Warren D. Cordeta, our Chief Administrative Officer. Sir?
Okay, thank you, Sir Rad. Um, I would like to start with saying that the program came into view during the advent of pandemic sometime last year. So this was conceptualized November because that was the initial meeting with the other committee members, coming up with the plan on how are we going to go about with crafting with this program. So it all came into view due to the feelings of employees who are stressed, burnt, exhausted in their work related activities or even on personal account. And that it is for this reason that the clamor for mental health program of the university came into view for us to help, assist, and facilitate our co-employees who have feelings associated to mental health. Specifically, our orientation has the following purposes. I have identified three purposes which are crucial in the implementation of the program as well as in terms of sustainability. So one is the awareness of the program itself, the Pagtagad program. So when we speak of awareness, everyone must be aware that the Pagtagad program of the university is already here as being clamored by some. So it is for this reason again that we conduct our orientation program for the stakeholders. Those are the HRs, the admin officers, social workers, health workers, so on and so forth, for all of us to be aware that the program indeed is here as a tool for us to use whenever needed by anybody else here in the university. Second, let us have focus and support of the program because if without focus and support, the program will die naturally. So as we go along with the program later on, we will know our respective responsibilities as we are armed with those responsibilities on how we're gonna do in terms of the implementation of this program. So without the support of every stakeholder, then the program will come into vain. So I hope that everybody involved in the implementation of the Pagtagad program should have the awareness so that everyone will have to embrace the program. And then the focus and support, especially the support. If without support, we can do nothing. And lastly, the commitment. So every one of us must have the commitment, the passion, so that we will be committed indeed to this program as a team where we pave the way our effort in the implementation of the same towards the road in a journey to make the lives of others better. This is indeed a very noble purpose of coming up with a program for everyone's sake. maybe some would say that we will not have the program because I don't have feeling of whatever feeling na dili mao. But of course, we think that this is very essential. We thought that we really have to come up with this as a standalone program apart from programs that are being given by the guidance office, but this is indeed tailored fit to those who are feeling or to those who have feelings associated with mental health. So very specific ni siya. So for these purposes, which I've mentioned, again, number one, awareness, focus and support, and the third is commitment. These are the three very essential things that we should really accomplish within our team so that sustainability of the implementation of the program will be achieved by us. Because in the later part of the implementation of the program, as we go along with the responsibilities later on, we will know that indeed we have a tall order to do, shall I say, tasks that we should undertake and take care as we implement the program. And then our Pagtagad program is part and parcel of our business continuity plan, which was approved sometime April 2021 through Board of Regent Resolution number 21 series of 2021. So approved ni siya. So with the approval of the board, it is indeed our task to implement the program. Thus, this orientation and the specific purposes mentioned. So I guess, Rad, that will be all, and thank you. I guess Ma'am Tel and Sir Darrell, if you could add up.
None
Thank
so
you.
far, sir. Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Uh,
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Sir Warren, for giving us an in-depth understanding about the program itself. Now, let's proceed to the orientation proper. First, we will be having a talk about the university mental health policies and program. Let us help me welcome Miss Lucia Stella Grace Ayabaa, Associate Professor, RSW MSSW.
Yes, thank you, Sarad. Allow me to share screen now. Okay, so here, okay. If it is already, I'm audible. Can I start now? Am
Yes,
I now
ma'am.
audible? Okay. So this Pagtagad program is a university-wide mental health program for faculty and staff. So the functions of the one of the functions of the HR or HRMO's office is the employees' welfare. We know that, and that's from the messages of our top officials. But we would like to emphasize here that there are normative references because this program is anchored to Republic Act 110 or 11036, an act establishing a national mental health policy for the purpose of enhancing the delivery of integrated mental health services as we promote and protect the rights of persons utilizing psychiatric, neurologic, psychological health services appropriating funds thereof or therefore and for other purposes, but we deemed not to reach in this level. And also, it is implementing rules and regulations of the RA 11036, otherwise known as the Mental Health Act. And the last is anchored to Civil Service Memorandum Circular number 4, and then 2020 series mental health program in the public sector. Our policy statement here is that Southern Leyte State University raised awareness on mental health issues. We have to correct the stigma and discrimination associated with mental health conditions, identify and provide support for individuals at risk, and facilitate access of individuals with mental health conditions to treatment and psychological support, psychosocial support. This is in pursuant to Republic Act 11036, again, in 2018, and is IRR and CSC memorandum. The statement commits itself to promoting well-being of people by ensuring that mental health is valued, promoted, protected, mental health conditions are treated and prevented, timely, affordable, highly quality, and culturally appropriate mental health care is made available to the public. Mental health services are free from coercion and accountable to the service users, and persons affected by mental health conditions are able to exercise the full range of its or human rights and participate fully in society and at work, free from stigmatization and discrimination. So, these state universities and colleges shall develop a mental health program designed to support this Republic Act, and which is integrated as a regular human resource development program specifically in health and wellness in the Part 3 CSE Memo number 4 Series 2020. So our objectives is to raise awareness, to correct the stigma, to identify and provide support, to facilitate access of individuals with mental health conditions to treatment and psychosocial support, which I believe that we are doing now. If we will be asked about the definition of terms, yes, of course, we believe and we also practice the confidentiality because this refers to ensuring that all relevant information related to persons with psychiatric, neurologic, and psychosocial health needs is kept safe from access or use by or disclosure to persons or entities who are not authorized to access, use, or possess such information. And also, we have here the discrimination because this refers to any distinction, exclusion, or restriction which has the purpose or effect of nullifying the recognition, enjoyment, or exercise on an equal basis with others of all human rights and fundamental freedoms in political, economic, social, cultural, civil, or any other field. It includes all forms of discrimination, including denial of reasonable accommodation, special measures solely to protect the rights or secure the advancement of persons with decision making, impairment, capacity shall not be deemed to be discriminatory. And also, we include importantly is the informed consent. This refers to consent voluntarily given by a service user to plan or treatment for treatment after a full disclosure communicated in plain language by attending mental health service provider of nature, consequences, benefits, and risks of the proposed treatment, as well as available alternatives. Then, mental health. It is a broad thing, but in us, in the university, this refers to state of well-being in which the individual realizes one's own abilities and potentials, copes adequately with the normal stresses of life, displays resilience in the face of extreme life events, works productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a positive contribution to the community. Still in the section of RA 11036. Then let's move on to the mental health condition of what our patient or what our faculty or staff is experiencing. This refers to a neurologic or psychiatric conditions characterized by the existence of recognizable, clinically significant disturbance in an individual's cognition, emotional regulation, or behavior that reflects a generic or acquired dysfunction in the neurobiological, psychosocial, or developmental processes underlying mental functioning. The determination of neurologic and psychiatric conditions shall be based on scientifically accepted medical nomenclature and best available scientific and medical evidence as we forward. If this is needed further, then we need medical health experts. We are not medical experts, but we can refer and tap this uh, highly qualified professions or professionals. As mental health advocates, as we are, this refers to trained person. As we will undergo training, we will invite also persons who are experts in this, and then as a volunteer or advocate. We are here as part of the university. We are under the volunteer or advocate engaged in mental health promotion, providing support services under the supervision of a mental health professional. So here is the mental health professional that we may later on needed is refers to a medical doctor, psychologist, nurse, social worker, or any other appropriately a guidance counselor or any trained and qualified person with specific skills relevant to the provision of mental health services. And for the mental health service provider, is refers to an entity or individual providing mental health services as defined in RA 11036, whether public or private, including but not limited to mental professionals and workers, social workers and counselors, peer counselors, informal community caregivers. If we go to the community, mental health advocates and their organizations, personal ombudsmen, and persons or entities offering non medical therapies. So, we are here to view that the coverage or the scenario of this our program is that the Southern Leyte State University mental health program is to be implemented to its 6 campuses, namely the campus of Sugod, Maasin City Campus, Tomas Opus Campus, Bontoc Campus, San Juan, and Hinunangan. And our guiding principles here is one is to identify and introduce relevant and implementable measures for early detection and prevention of mental health. I'll check. Yes. Conditions in the workplace. There must be somebody in the workplace. Identify relevant and implementable mental health programs to raise awareness on mental health issues, correct the stigma and discrimination associated with mental health condition. And number three is we have to introduce mental health programs that will promote mental healthy lifestyle in the workplace with the active participation amongst government officials and employees. We have also to develop a mental health program that will create linkage to other government agencies and or non-government organizations that provide treatment and psychological and medical support. In this, we have now our mental health programs. Okay. First is we should have a psychological assessment. Second, information, education, and mental health wellness, referral system, and review of working conditions. And the rest of this will be explained by our next presenter. Sir Rad, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mom Stella, for giving us an orientation about the university mental health policies and programs. And by the way, Mom Stella is also our head for International Affairs Office Career Center Services here in MCC. Now, let's move forward to strategies, protocols, and processes. Let us help welcome Sir Daryl James Valdez, RSW, MSSW, our HRMO designate, Faculty President, Instructor 1. Sir, go ahead.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Um, so I'll be presenting to you the strategies on how are we going to carry out the Pagtagad program, the University Mental Health Program in the entire university. And as we go on with this presentation, I'd like to encourage everyone to expand your minds, your knowledge, and familiarity of the mental health program after you're able to hear the rationale, the policies and programs shared to us by Sir Warren and Ma'am Stella a while ago. So for our strategies, first is we will be utilizing the psychological assessment. As we all know, before we are being hired, one of the requirements for our selection placement in our agency is psychological assessment, of which we have to submit as part of our documents, no? And the thing about this requirement is that since dili ni siya nga naka-required civil service appointment, however, kini ngadto naman ibilin sa respective nato nga agencies sa atong university, it turned out nga wala siya nga wala siya nga wala ba og bugat nga gamit or purpose no ngano man nga naataan na. So basically with this mental health program nato sa university, we will utilize the psychological assessment from the recruitment and throughout the career of an employee. We were going to utilize that psychological assessment as part of our references and as part of our understanding about his or her life situation, no? So usa ang psychological assessment nga atong gamiton no nga strategy in implementing this university mental health program. Secondly is we will be conducting a continuing mental health awareness activities. So since this is already a program, let us expect that more activities, series of activities promoting mental health, practicing mental health, um, establishing mental health initiatives and the culture of promoting mental health, no, in our respective workplaces, no, one of which is the production of information education communication materials on mental health, which is vital. um, Perhaps one of the activities, further activities, follow-up activities after this orientation will be the planning of how are we going to carry out the production of our information and education and communication materials on mental health. The third one is the conduct of series of seminars or webinars or orientation related to mental health. And the third one is the capacity building of the mental health providers. Kita, no, the capacity, our capacity building, because we as the responders, we as the one who will carry out the implementation of the university mental health program, we need to be equipped, no, with the knowledge, with the skills on dealing with cases of our fellow employee or staff who are experiencing mental health problems related to their work, in their personal life, or whatever determining factors that has affected their mental health. So we need to be equipped. So part of the strategies that we're going to employ in the implementation of this manual or program is to capacitate us with the needed knowledge and skills and attitude in order for us to be effective in handling and in managing and in facilitating cases of faculty and staff who are experiencing mental health issues and problems. Moving on, the third strategy that we're going to employ is the mental health wellness. No, mental health wellness will be done through conduct of regular stress management activities. There are many ways how to manage our stresses in the workplace or at home, no? And part of perhaps the conversations, part of the brainstorming in the respective units and offices in every campus of the university is to look into some strategies on how we are going to institutionalize stress management activities, stress management initiatives aron kumbaga sa office palang we can be a strong supporter to our fellow faculty and staff nga dili sila into mahog na sa kadaot dala ni ini mental health issues, no. So, conduct of regular stress management activities such as pagpangumusta, such as having a time for hangout, having a time for spiritual reflections, having a time for bonding, no. So karon dili jud ingon nga tanto nga mas ma-focus nato ang atong kaugalingon sa stressful situation, but somehow we can able to divert, no, the energy nga nakuha nato gikan sa stressful situation into something that would help us recover ourselves from the impacts of these stressful stresses in our lives, no. Secondly is the team building activities, the mentoring program, and of course kining gitawag development of peer counseling. One of the most practical and economic, no, ways in dealing with mental health, in promoting mental health, is to utilize, no, our fellow faculty staff, our fellow workmates, no. We can be the counselor of our fellow faculty and staff, and peer counseling is one of the leading strategies, especially in the workplace, in every organization, and even in the community, nga kita mismo ang mamahimong kumbaga counselor or mamahimong kibaling tao in the presence of our fellow faculty or staff at times when they feel that they need someone to talk to, at times when they feel that they're struggling in life and they need someone to support them, to be with them. No? So at least with these mental health wellness strategies, we will be able to somehow, no, at our own little ways, help them, assist them, and enlighten them with the baggages that they have been hurdling every day of their life. No? Makita nato sa mental health wellness, more on on engaging our fellow faculty and staff to activities that would somehow give them another dimension apart from being engrossed with our respective work, apart of being so committed with our respective families and community. We need to set a time, a moment, no, we have to divert, no, our attention and going into a specific dimension wherein we can be who we are as ourselves, and we can express, no, all the negativities that has been piling up in our respective hearts, inner self, no. So the mental health wellness is one of the good strategies wherein we can really intensify the promotion of this university mental health program, no. So na realize din so why atong giname sa atong university mental health program is Pagtagad program, because ikaw ug ako na maligitay ka emphasizing that we are not just employed to a certain organization. We are also becoming a member of a family within our organization. We are family members in one university. That's why we have to be we should not turn the fourth one is the referral system, which includes the partnerships with health institutions, the Department of Health, and some other non-government organizations. Because we always believe in whatever program, we always believe that we cannot do it by our own. We need other people, organizations, we need other expertise to implement our efforts as we implement this program. Part of this strategy, the referral system, to be able to come up with of all
Hello, I do apologize for it's just a minor technical concern. It looks like Sir Daryl's connectivity is unstable at the moment. Let's just wait for Sir Daryl to
Hello?
relog. All right, here it is. Here he is. Thank you, sir. Welcome back, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay, sorry, I was out for a moment due to some internet-related issues. So, yes. How about this?
We can hear you, sir, but we cannot see your presentation slide.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Welcome back, sir.
Oh,
You're
hi,
still a number 4, sir.
I connection at the moment, so for options as possible. So this is the point of the
You may
Again, my apologies to a minor interruption. Let's just wait for Sir Daryl to bounce back. Just hang on.
Hello, am I back already?
Yes, sir. Welcome back again, sir.
Hari kahasol ba di ini? Sorry, I'm very sorry. Okay, sige, so let's continue. The fifth strategy is for me one of the most critical strategies that we have to be guided with. First is to review the working condition. We have to assess the workload balance and accomplishment of respective faculty and staff. We always believe that because we have work, we can always consider our deliverables, our workloads as part of the stressors, no, in our life. No, that is why there is a need for the university, especially those involved in the review of our working conditions, to really look into to assess really the respective workload of our faculty and staff. We might not realize that there are few staff or faculty in our university who has been handling many workloads, and we might not hear anything from them, any complaints from them, but we can detect that they might be struggling inside of their life on, especially in how to manage all the expectations because of the workload that assigned to them. So there is really a need to assess the workload balance. Okay, it is not in consonance with the principle of equity kung naaray mga faculty or staff nga sila ra halos tanan ang trabahoon, dyan na po yung mga faculty and staff nga halos wala kaayoy trabaho or wala kaayo na busy. No? So it is important siguro to really assess the balance of workloads of the respective employee. Kaya at the end of the day, bisan pa og nakita nato nga ay nakaya man din niya nga 5 iyang workload, 1 iyang workload, but wala ta kasabot pila ka unsa kadaghan nga mga sakripisyo iyang gibuhat ana both inner and outer sa iyang kaugalingon just to deliver the expected outcome sa iyang gihatag niya nga mga designations or workload. So as much as possible, because of this university mental health program, we want to promote a life, no, a balanced life, no, in our respective faculty and staff, no. There is also a need to review the job descriptions and, of course, as much as possible, inculcate in our working environment the healthy relationship, a good communication, and at the same time, a facilitative discussions and conversations. This really goes back to the idea that each of us in an organization has a critical role to play in the promotion of mental health. Because duha ra man koy butuan ni, it could be ikaw ang mahimong source sa toxic environment or ikaw ang mamahimong tubag or sulbad aron mawa na sa nga toxic environment. So even in our drive to promote this university mental health program, we need to start it with our respective offices from where we are working. As sa mismo atong workplace, we need to start institutionalizing, establishing, nurturing a healthy working environment, if a good harmonious relationship with each other in the workplace, and the facilitative conversation among our fellow employees in the university. So those are our 5 strategies. Now let's come to the protocols. As we implement the mental health programs, we need to be guided with these following protocols. Una, the non-discriminatory principle. No, an employee at risk shall not be discriminated in any form. We all agree to this, and we all have the same sentiments on this matter, that any employee should not be discriminated in any form, regardless of your race, gender, or whatsoever. We should not be treated under discriminatory actions or circumstances in any form. Any employee at risk or identified to have a mental health condition, labi na kung na mental health condition, should not be discriminated, labi na in panahon there are hiring, promotion, and even termination. This should also not be discriminated nor prevented to receive benefits as government employee because of their condition. So of course, these are in support to our existing policies and regulations in the government, which we reinforced and relate it to the mental health program. Moving on, they shall continue to perform their duties and responsibilities provided that they are issued a certification from an accredited physician certifying that their condition does not impede their productivity and still fit to work. No? So this is one of the protocols that we have to be guided with when we implement the university mental health program. Secondly, is the return to work. No, employees identified to have mental condition and have undergone treatment and rehabilitation shall not be prevented from returning to work, provided an accredited physician certifies that he or she is already fit to work again, to come back to work. No, agency heads shall make work arrangements adaptable and flexible to accommodate employees at risk or identified with mental health conditions. I think one of the typical example ani is kanang what if lagi na ata employee nga problemado sa ilang panimalay, nagbuwag sa isang bana, ang isang mga anak, ila pang ipahiluna. So we have to always consider these situations nga na-experience sa ato mga employees. If there is a need for us to be flexible with some work arrangement that he or she should do, we have to consider that, no, as our way of helping him or her in his or her situation. The third one is the confidentiality, which already been given an overview by Ma'am Aba a while ago. But more or less in confidentiality as one of our protocols, we need to always bear in mind that all information and medical records, including those submitted during the recruitment process, shall be protected and treated with confidentiality as provided with rules, laws, and the Data Privacy Act of 2012. No? uh, this not really necessarily mean as absolute confidentiality. There are times that we need to look into some records, especially for the purposes of helping them further with their situation, and of course in assessing their situation, no? But more or less, as much as possible, we should not let di na to iabot sa punto nga ang atong kauban nga empleyado or staff mamahimo na sadyang unod sa tanang istorya, unod sa tanang pagpanglibak o pangpachismis sa tibuok university, no? As much as possible, we as the mental health responders, mental health service providers, mental health professionals, we need to secure, no, the dignity and value of our co-employees in the university by adhering to the confidentiality protocol, no? The fourth one is our protocol should be based on the rights-based approach. No, rights-based approach. Employees at risk or identified with mental conditions shall not be deprived of the opportunity to work, participate in policy making and program implementation relating to mental health. Kaya nara ba tayo stigma or mura ba og understanding or kumbaga mura practice, I don't talk sa una or hangtod karon nga makabantay na kita nga kini nga empleyado na ay something nga mental health adto na paapila kay basta nun sa ugma mabusamot na ijang gibati karon, no? Wala maganita naka-konsulta, nakapangutana ni kung okay na ba sa nga mo appeal sa atong mga planning, mga activities, mga meeting, no? So employees at risk or identified with mental health shall not be prevented to exercise their inherent civil, political, economic, social, religion, and cultural rights. No? So that should not prevent them from exercising their rights as an individual. And employees at risk or identified with mental health shall have access to affordable, evidence-based treatment and medical services and participate in mental health advocacy, policy planning, legislation, service provision, monitoring, research, and evaluation. Now, na may gibutang din hinga shall have access to affordable evidence-based treatment and medical services. Does this mean that the university will shoulder the expenses of the treatment and medical services? It depends. It really depends. But as much as possible, the least we can do is to refer our fellow employees to someone, to government services that can accommodate their needs, no, that accommodate their situation. So these are our processes, and this is the last topic of that has been given to me. The processes that we are going to do is first is employees at risk or identified with mental health conditions shall undergo psychological first aid or psychosocial support service or counseling. Parehas this is just sa first aid nga kanang naay maaksidente kinahanglan na ay first aid nga himuon. So maupod ni sa mga empleyado nato nga naay na experience nga mga mental health issues. We need to learn how to conduct psychological first aid sessions or psychosocial support services or counseling to them. On this note, part of our kainumdum sa atong strategies, usaning psychological first aid and psychosocial support service and counseling, usaning si just sa mga i-train nato. We will be trained on how to give psychological first aid, psychosocial support services as part of our strategies in the implementation of this university mental health program. The HRMO or the HRDO and the guidance counselor shall refer to accredited and licensed mental health professional and mental health care facility for an outpatient medical care. So actually, we really don't have a mental health facility in the entire province of Southern Leyte. Wa maginitay halos psychiatrists dinhi or even psychologists, but we have trained doctors and nurses in the government, in the private sector perhaps. They are trained on mental health program of the Department of Health. So perhaps we should have a contact, we should have a directory of their contact numbers and hotlines so that if we experience one of our employees struggling or expressing that they have been into a mental health condition, dili na to kaya nga i-process, i-facilitate ang ilang needs. So we should have a hotline ani nga mga doctors or nurses or offices or agencies in the government and private sector further help us in dealing, no, in managing our fellow employees. Should there is a need for employees at risk or identified with mental health conditions, the guidance counselor shall refer to mental health professionals and service providers to provide advanced treatment as necessary. No, actually, dili lang siguro pud limited into advanced treatment related to mental health professionals, because there might be sometimes that tungod kay naka-experience sila mental health problem, maapektuhan po ng ilang panginabuhi, ang ilang pagsuporta sa pamilya. Might as well, the worst case scenario is maapektuhan na ng entire family. So there is a need for us to really have a clear connection, clear network and referral pathway with the Municipal Social Welfare Development Office, who take charge with people or families, children nga victims of broken homes, broken families. Kaya aron dili ta ingon nga maglisod pag-facilitate. We have to bear in mind that in our university mental health program, dili ra kakita ang ma-implement ani. We are more on the advocacy, the promotion, and of course in facilitating the cases no nga ma-experience no sa atong mga co-employees. That is why it is a key that we need to have an active directory and open lines with our partners in the implementation of this program. Should there is a need for employees at risk or identified with mental health condition, he or she shall apply for the necessary number of days or months leave, provided it is recommended forth by the physician. We have the omnibus code, omnibus rules on leave, no? And perhaps daghan ato nga mga provisions wherein any one of us can file for leave, as long as dili siya ing ana ka violates sa atong mga omnibus rules on leave, no? However, there are certain specific provisions or kumbaga privileges, no, in when availing leave privileges, such as, for example, kung ikaw victim ka of battering, no, battered wife ka, or you are into nag-deal ka sa pagsulbad sa kaso sa vowsy sa imong bana or imong partner, na anay mga privileges on leave ana nga matter. So perhaps the HRMO can help us realize that there are specific incentives, leave incentives that we can avail, no, to facilitate, to support us sa atong mga mental health problems nga na-encounter sa atong kinabuhi. So there is a need to continue rehabilitation. The HRMO, HRDO, and the guidance counselor may refer to help and continue treatment of the employee. So as I'd like to end this my presentation, let us realize that with the implementation of our mental health program, we need to start where we are. We have to use what we have, and we have to do what we can. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much, Sir Daryl, for giving us an orientation about the responsibilities. I mean, the strategies, the protocols, and processes covered by this Pagtagad program of ours. Now, let's proceed to the responsibilities, reporting requirements, and monitoring. Let's welcome Sir Dr. Warren D. Cordetta, our Chief Administrative Officer. Sir?
Okay, thank you, Sir Rad. So may I ask if the document can be seen on screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me start with the presentation on the responsibilities. So first, in the implementation of this program, there are certain personalities in the university who are responsible indeed in the implementation of such. So let's start with the university president. So what are the responsibilities of the president? Number one, provide a statement of policy relating to mental health program. Number two, maintain overall responsibility for the mental health program. Number three, ensure that all established mental health policies are administered and enforced in all workplace areas. And lastly, approve the designation of the university mental health advocates and responders. Later on, we will know who are these responders and advocates. By the way, you will notice that in the last column, we have here the competencies. So we just show here the competencies of the responsible person with respect, of course, to the respective responsibilities. Okay. And so next is we have the Vice President for Administration and Finance. Number one, responsibility is to ensure that university policies on mental health are enforced and sustained through its programs and services. Ensure that all personnel are aware of the mental health program. Provide information and resources including funding to effectively implement the mental health program. Provide continuous education or training on mental health, and recommend to the university president for the creation of the university's list of mental health advocates and responders. So, asa man tabaka kita, kinsa ang mo generate sa atong mental health advocates and responders later on at the bottom. Okay? And then we have here the responsibilities of the Chief Admin Officer, Assistant Director for Administration and Finance, and Campus Administrative Officers. Number one, establish institutional network who can provide assistance in the implementation of the mental health program. Number two, monitor accomplishments of the mental health program because the implementation of such will be measured through our accomplishment. So we are governed with the submission of reports. Number three, exercise supervision in the conduct of all mental health related programs, projects, and services in coordination with the Human Resource Development Officer, Human Resource Management Officer, Guidance Office, or the Guidance Counselor, the Registered Social Workers, and MSSWs of the university. That includes, of course, the health workers. And then number four, ensure that there will be a list produced regarding mental health advocates and responders. So, mauni si admin officer ang mo scout for the would-be mental health advocates and responders to be passed on for approval by the VPAF and finally approved by the university president. Okay, and number five, ensure the care workers' condition in terms of burnout situation to be assisted by the next in line trained carers. So there are cases manggod that ang atong trabaho or stress out na ta. So we make sure that one of the responsibilities of the admin officer is to make sure that walay vacuum na may tabo whenever there are responders who are burnt out at the moment. So natay ka-replace kaagad. No? So ato ning mahibalaan as we go along with the implementation of the program through katong like giingon ni Sir Daryl Ganiha that we will have to train the stakeholders as well as the mental health responders and the advocates. Okay? And then the responsibilities of the Human Resource Management Officer and the Human Resource Development Officer. Okay? So the mental health program and its programs and activities shall be institutionalized and managed under the Human Resource Management Office / Human Resource Development Office. In the case of campuses, it's the HRMO. With the main campus, since we have an HRDO, so the HRDO will have to take care of this program. So number one responsibility is to administer, manage, and monitor implementation of the mental health program. Number two, coordinates with the guidance counselor for any relevant information and data recorded and analyzed to facilitate implementation and improvement of mental health program. So kining number two, we will have to get data, of course, from those cases na nasangat dito sa offices of the guidance counselor or offices of the HRMO and HRDO that can be used as future reference in terms of further runs of the implementation of the programs, considering the data for us to be to be governed on what to improve still in the implementation of the program. So number 3, maintain contact with institutional networks such as hospitals, agencies, trainers, medical professionals, etc. to support the implementation of the MHP. So since it was mentioned indeed in the processes, one of the processes that we are going to facilitate in bringing bringing the would-be patient to those institutional networks. So therefore, the HRMO, the guidance counselors, and the HRDOs shall also have the time to go out and have the networking activity for us to identify what are the institutions that we can interact with, perhaps sign MOA, so that we can bring them, our employees, as with associate with mental health problems. Number 4, shall initiate workplace discussions on mental health. Number 5, keep up to date with recommended mental health information and education materials. So dapat lang because we are going to submit reports. Number 6, assist in incident investigations, analysis, and preparation of mental health related reports and summaries. Number 7, ensure mental health program is integrated in the human resource initiative processes and identify faculty and staff who will be trained as mental health advocates and responders. The identification of these mental health advocates and responders, actually I have in mind, I don't know if you are amenable to this, that we shall just go directly to the departments and ask the heads and deans sa ilang pwedeng ma-recommend that will act as a responder or responders sa ilang department. Kaya kung maghuwat pa ta, murag madugay ang proseso. So at our end, ato ning tabangan on the part of the admin officers as well as the HRDOs, HRMOs, and guidance counselors to ask assistance from the heads and the deans to identify who would be our mental advocates and responders so that we can consolidate that one and submit to the VPAF and in turn for approval of the university president. And in here, you will notice that our employer organization representatives also are included. The faculty rep and the staff representative. The responsibilities are the following. Assist the head of the agency and the Human Resource Management Office, HRDO, or HRDO in the implementation of the mental health program. Support all mental health related initiatives, programs, and activities. Shall assist the head of the agency and the Human Resource Management Office, Human Resource Development Office in the conduct of consultations related to mental health, its policy, and its implementation. And we have a separate responsibilities for the guidance counselors that include the health workers. Number 1, acts as receiving office for any employee at risk or experiencing mental health problems, and even those whose emotional conditions have been seriously affected due to stress related to work or personal life. Number 2, conduct counseling sessions with a concerned employee, provide and recommend findings for possible psychological interventions if needed, shall assist the HRMO, HRDO in the conduct of mental health awareness among employees in the university, coordinate with other professionals such as social workers, nurses, and other allied mental health practitioners to assist in the conduct of psychological first aid or psychosocial support services. Now, in here, actually, it's not only the guidance counselors who will receive any employee at risk. Okay? It can also be like the responders can receive also those employees at risk. Okay? That is why we are going to train them how to deal with those circumstances. Also, on the part of the main campus, we have the HRDO. So the HRDO also may receive as well any employee who is at risk. So, dili lang si guidance sa counselor, but ang tanan, mo akong dimension. So, the HRDO, the HRMOs who have trainings, okay, who are subject to be trained in the future. Okay. Kay lisod kung puro guidance counselor lang, kay they are actually loaded na sa laing trabaho. So, but of course, if the employee will have to go to the guidance counselor, okay lang. If the employee will go to the HRDO or HRMO, okay din lang. Same is true with the identified responders. So they can go any of those mentioned, okay, receivers. And then we have here the responsibilities of the advocates and responders. So naka-asterisk pa dire, to be recommended by the college deans, directors, department heads. So there are qualifications maatong tan-awon sa would-be responders. Number 1, must be an employee of SLSU regardless of employment status. So therefore, it's not only the permanent employees can be tapped on this, but we can also tap the part-timers, meaning the full-time, part-time faculty members, as well as the staff. Okay? Number 2, educational background must be related to social and behavioral sciences. So very specific. Why is it so? So that the personnel involved shall have the background, okay, to deal with employee at risk. So dili na siya maglisod, no? Kay na naman sa background in the behavioral manner. Number 3, willing to be trained on mental health advocacy and psychological first aid modules, and willing to volunteer his or her time in responding to and dealing with SLSU employees' mental health conditions. Now, in identifying the responders, sigurado kay mo entail magudis ni og time, although dili siya ingon nga na ay case from time to time. But of course, this will only be taken care of whenever there is employee at risk. So number 4 really is very clear that volunteerism is there on the part of the would-be responder. So willing to volunteer ang iyang time. So mangita ta og tao, mangita tag staff og faculty na walay laing considerations na ilang gipangita to be part of the team. Kung dili ang ilang time, ilang i-share to help those who are in need in the university. Okay, so moving on. With respect to the responsibilities, the responders shall provide mental health services to SLSU employees when called upon in collaboration with the guidance office and HRMO and HRDO. Number 2, attend and participate to every capacity building opportunities related to mental health. Number 3, act as first responders to any SLSU employee who needs immediate mental health support using the psychological first aid principles and processes. Number 4, volunteer for advocacy-related activities on mental health within and outside of SLSU only in instance where the activity is with recognized partner organizations. So whenever we go out of the university, we ensure that we are to celebrate it, we are to conduct the activity in a recognized partner organization outside. And lastly, attend to university meeting and planning activities in all matters related to mental health. So these are the responsibilities as mentioned with respect to the individuals mentioned, okay, in here, okay, from the university president down to the responders. And now let me proceed with the information dissemination. The conduct of the orientation today form part now of the information dissemination that indeed our program, the Pagtagad program, is approved by the Board of Regents. Okay? And the succeeding activities that we will have will also form part of the communication plan that we are going to undertake. Aside, of course, from the reorientation of the same to the respective campuses. Now, considering that there are already stakeholders attending this orientation, so it is suggested or recommended that the respective guidance counselors, the HRMOs, the admin officers, the health workers, the social workers are now tasked to disseminate the information regarding our program. So, katong mga campus representatives na naakaroon diri are the ones who are now going to conduct the orientation as form part of the information dissemination of the approval of the Pagtagad program. And then, we have here the reporting requirements and record keeping. Records of employees at risk must at all times be managed, kept safe, and confidential, and must conform to the provision of the Data Privacy Act of 2012. So it is an assurance on the part of all stakeholders, especially those mentioned who receive any employee at risk, to keep the record confidential at all times. This is, of course, to protect, okay, the identity of the person who approaches our respective offices. And SLSU shall furnish the Civil Service Commission through the HRMO, HRDO, an annual report on the mental health program for reference and records purposes. Now, in submission or submitting the reports to civil service, we will only submit one report. A consolidated report as a university, as one. Okay? So there will only be one report to be submitted. So what will be the process? Campuses will have to make their respective reports and shall be submitted to the HRDO of the main campus for consolidation before the same will be submitted to the Civil Service Commission. So we only submit once a year, but in terms of monitoring, we are going to monitor the implementation of the program in a quarterly basis. So much as we also need reports in a quarterly basis that will be submitted to the office of the HRDO. Okay? And then involved offices, as mentioned, shall also submit monthly reports. So monthly dire. I have stand corrected ang akong ingon quarterly. But number 2, monitoring and evaluation statement says that the involved offices shall submit monthly reports to HRMO, HRDO for consolidation. So monthly ko di I stand corrected when I said quarterly, but monthly. And an annual report shall be submitted to the CEC through the HRDO of the main campus. Ganiha form part of the responsibility of the VPAF ni Mama Bell is to allocate funds. In here, I asked this one also from the budget officer that indeed we have the 2% allocated budget for the Human Resource Management Office. So any activity that we conduct, especially now that we are going to have a series of activities form part of info dissemination and training of the personnel involved in the implementation of this program, tanan naka-allocate na sa atong HRMO nga budget, which is equivalent to 2% allocated budget total. Okay? So I think this is all for my part in the responsibilities as well as in the monitoring and reportorial aspect of the document. Thank you, Sir Rad.
Thank you so much, Dr. Warren, for giving us a very clear and comprehensive orientation about the responsibilities, reporting requirements, and monitoring in covered or coverage as per the implementation of Pagtagad program. And so now let us proceed to our open forum. Now, how are we going to do it? If you are about to give a suggestion or a question or raise a point of inquiry, please turn on your camera and then introduce yourself first, and then to be followed by your question or your comments or your suggestion. Or you may, participants, you may also utilize our chat box wherein you can just simply type in your question or suggestion and I will read it for you. And please don't forget to write to who or who is the addressee or to who you want to address your question to. Okay? All right, so again, the table is now open for any suggestion, comments, clarifications, or questions.
Or can we have still our photo shoot, family photo shoot?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can proceed to our photo shoot. So if that's the case, then I would like to request everyone to please turn on your cameras for our photo shoot before our closing remarks. Sir Rani, you can give the signal for the photo shoot. Sir?
Only one panel, sir? Only one panel? We have
How
only
about
one
for
panel.
only
Yeah.
one panel? All right. So is it done, Ma'am Stella?
Yeah, I think it's done. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your participation. And now, let us proceed finally to the closing remarks. Please help me welcome Professor Veronica El Rioma, our HRMO3 in the main campus. Ma'am, go ahead.
She was still attending, I think, the HRM SPSB meeting,
Oh,
Mama Rioma, because we have to have still our open forum. I think there are still questions,
okay. All
comments.
right, so let's take the opportunity and the luxury of time to accommodate some questions or suggestions. Our speakers or our presenters are very much ready to accommodate your suggestions and clarifications. participants, please feel free to do so. Okay, we have a question here from Ma'am Maria Lita. Archeon, hi sir, ask lang po, how are the members of the psych team responders? Ma'am Maria, who do you want to address this question to? Ma'am?
Sir Rod, I will take first the question and then I will forward to Sir Daryl. The question is all
Okay.
about
Hi,
site.
sir. Hello.
Yes, Ma'am Maria, go
morning.
ahead.
Yes. For Sir Darren, ask ko lang kung how are you going to create the team of psychological responders? Are they going to volunteer or you're going to appoint?
Sir Daryl? Hello, Sir Daryl. I believe the question
Hello,
was addressed to you,
ma'am.
sir.
Hi.
Yes.
Yes, hello, ma'am. Ma'am Arkion.
Ma'am Lita na lang po, Ma'am Lita.
Yes, Ma'am Lita. Actually,
Yes.
ma'am, the mental health, the psychological first aid or the mental health responders case already has been chosen already. The participants for this orientation are di ba na memo nga gipada Sir Warren kinsa to ang mga encouraged to attend the orientation, and most of them are the mental health professionals, mental health service providers who are currently employed sa atong university, the social workers, nurses, guidance counselors, and at the same time the offices, certain offices in our university such as the HRMOs, the HRMDOs, and other levels of governance in our university who will act as main responders sa kining psychological first aid. However, if puhon realize din nato when we attend the training on psychological first aid, anyone can do psychological first aid. Any one of us, may it be dili ka social worker, dili ka guidance counselor, dili ka nurse, you can conduct psychological first aid to anyone in our fellow employee, with our fellow employees in the university, because psychological first aid is a mura kibala sa og an immediate response when someone, our fellow employee, needs someone nga mamati nila, maminaw nila sa ilang problema. So the psychological first aid session is more of kumustahan. Pangumusta niya kung kumusta man ang iyang gibati, more of listening his or her story when that specific employee has approached us with his or her own personal problems or whatever problems that he or she is encountering that has affected his or her mental health condition. So basically, we are the responders, but the responsibility of delivering psychological first aid sessions to our fellow employees is kita tanan in the university. But we are the mura kibali og kita ang mga promoters, kita ang mga advocates for this program. But the conduct of the psychological first aid does not limit only to us, but it is the responsibility of all of us. Kitang tanan nga in one university, in one organization. It is our responsibility. That is why we have to have an overview on how to conduct psychological first aid bisag mga rudiments aron mamahimo ni natong magamit ni nato when we are asked of our help, our presence sa atong mga empleyado, fellow employees. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, a follow-up question lang po. I think it is a fact that not everyone has attended or are adept in giving psychological first aid or whatever, especially those who are volunteers. No, so I think it is a must na before tamuhatag anang mga psychological first aid, we have to undergo several trainings and seminars para sigurado jud ta sa atong pagkuan kasi baka muhatag ka na ay na kay kauban nga teacher nga willing to give his listening ears pero he is not totally adept in giving psychological first aid kay naagud na mga strategies that we have to undergo. So dapat before we are going to go to the field, we have to be equipped, no? So mag-undergo sa taog seminars on psychological first aid, on etc. etc. So para we are abreast of what is going on with the profession of counselors and psychologists para kuan jud ang atong service pulido and then dili magbalik-balik ba nga ikuan na pod kay i-refer na pod sa kuan kay half baked ra ang naantiguhan sa first aid responder. Thank you.
Yeah. Can I also add on to Sir Daryl, Ma'am Lita, and to all?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. First, we are here. We don't have time to move on until after lunch to spill over. What we need now is we will have a Google form, and then we will have a survey to where or to what team or committee you're going to volunteer. Like for example, for the training team, for the responder team, or for the reporting and monitoring teams. So I think we need to still identify teams that are needed to start up. Kaya wala pa man kita makasunod.
Yes.
The equipping will be on the training
Okay.
and capacitating. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your participation, Ma'am Maria Lita.
Lita na lang po.
Ma'am Lita. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes po. Yes.
Any more questions from our or suggestion from our participants?
So basta lang, Sir Rad, is that we will rest assured that the Google form will be organized, and then once it will be responded, and then we will consolidate it and then return to each campuses with the approved by our chief administrator. Then that's it. We can start up. Any suggestion? Yes, Jai. Do you have suggestion? You're talking. Jai, any suggestion? I know that you will be on the expertise part. You're on this expertise type. I know that.
Yes, ma'am. Naalang ko'y kuan, ma'am, nalang ko'y kanang follow-up answer po sa kang Ma'am Lita, no?
Yeah, okay.
Kana, concern, magod, I understand concern ni Ma'am Lita is, what if ang mga responders dili yun anak equipped, no, to respond to the needs of our colleagues if ever mahitabo na. So, as per discussion po with Sir Daryl, moagi og training ang tanang responders before ta ma-designate as mental health responders zone kay that will ensure that we are already equipped with the basics of providing psychosocial support or psychological first aid sa nga kaya nato sa atong level. But then mo to giingon nga there is a referral system if ever dili na jud kaya sa responders. So I think mao to ang concept nga ahong na gets as per istorya namo ni Sir Daryl dinhi ganina. So murag mao to ang concern ni Ma'am Lita, no, kung kanang paunsa asa ta nga level mo respond unsay atong capacity kana.
Yeah.
So,
It is by phase. It is by phase, ma'am. This time it is more on the orientation. The next one is equipping, and the third one is the implementation. Okay. Sir Warren.
All right. Any more questions or suggestions or clarification from our participants?
Sir Rod, rejoinder lang, Sir Rod. As I was listening to the questions and the answers of our participants.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's true, Montel. You're right in saying that as of the moment, we just launched this one in a form of orientation, but of course, later part, after coming up with the katong Google form, and then we shall have a head start on terms of capacitating the would-be responders. Kaya sa karon manggod, these participants of ours really have the grasp of the knowledge already in terms of responding to the needs of any individual or employee who may be at risk, no? But of course, what we are trying to capacitate here are the responders, are the would-be responders that are identified in the campus level as well as in the main campus. I agree with you, Ma'am Jess, that indeed, since naatay koan kining hinoon katong mga responders can be anybody else, di ba? Irrespective of, but of course, in the qualification, ingon ta dito nga, ang responder shall be a graduate of behavioral sciences and social sciences programs. But in case na ay mga interested individuals or employees who are willing to be part of the team, ato po nang i-welcome. Kaya lang, mo itong ingon ni Ma'am Jess ganiha nga, very limited ang atong grasp compared to the guidance counselors, to the health workers, na naagod sila a psychological background bahin ani nga atong program. So, mo na siya that we are indeed going to capacitate, we have a capacity building to those would-be responders and enhance more katong mga existing na, capacitate more. Okay? Atong mga existing nato na mga kaigsuonan who are practicing the profession. So, just wait for the upcoming activities as we go along after this orientation. So, moto, unahon sa nato katong tasking una, asa ta mabilong, and then from there, we will have to formulate na activities for each group. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sir Warren, for clarifying that out.
Sir Warren,
Okay.
follow-up
Yes, Ma'am
question?
Maria.
Yes, Ma'am
We
Liz.
have a
Yes.
follow-up question, sir.
Okay. So, another concern of mine is the administration of psychological assessment, because there are some campuses na dili pa kumpleto ang ilang mga psychological test kay mahal gud na siya, unlike sa sugod campus nga kumpleto sila sa mga psychological test. So just like sa hinunangan, murag wala ang naar lang sa amo ang kanarang sa IQ sa screening for the assessment of students who are going to enroll. But with regards to psychological testing, like sa kung naay mga disorders, particularly going to schizophrenia, wala jud ta ana kay aside from it's very expensive, wala say qualified nga guidance counselor, or not necessarily qualified, but wala tay mga specific nga mga psychometrician for each campus. Ang naaray siguro psychometrician ang sa sugod. So parang delay kung ikuan pa didto nya. Whereas kung ang bawat ang bawat campus naadyo equipped gyud sila sa mga psychological testing, kay pag ingon nga problema tagaan dayon og psychological test, dayon ng counselor, and then mahatag dayon ang tama nga assessment kung diagnose kung unsa joy angay niyang buhaton. So usa na sa akong concerns kay wala mi dire mga psychological test na leading to detecting disorders.
Yes, ma'am.
Siguro ma'am, the way I understand it, whatever resources that we have, respective kung sa maasin bagikan or dili sa sugod bagikan, since we are one university, we can share resources. So siguro lang ma'am, the moment that there is at-risk employee at hand, kung kana magkinahanglan ta sa usa ka tool, ato siguro ma'am, inform ang campus nga naa siya para ma-share po sa campus, ma'am. Muna akong nakitaan. And then,
Sir Warren,
yes, Sir Darrell.
kanang ako naman siguro i-clarify kay usara ba to sa atong mga strategies sa implementation sa mental health program. Ang katong gimin nga psychological assessment, una is di ba when we are hired, usa sa mga gipangayo nga mga documents for us is the psychological assessment, katong mga medical exam and whatsoever. Those documents dili man tumuadtog civil service, makip man to sa HR. So, every time kintahay, for example, ako, maabot ang time nga nakoy concern sa mental health issue ko, magka mental health issue ko, kadto sa nga record na ho, a psychological assessment na ho, could be a baseline in further assess kung sa may ahong kumbaga psychological setup before kuning sud sa SLSU. Ikaduha nga perspective is that the psychological assessment could be one of the services nga wherein i-refer ang atong mga faculty, atong mga staff, depende sa impact sa problema. Kung need sila psychological assessment, we have to refer them to clinics and facilities that provide psychological assessment. Kay daghan po or na di man nato mahibawaan siguro but moabot siguro ang panahon that there are employees nato nga murag ang impact sa mental health issue is grabe sa ilang kinabuhi, and there is a need for dili na nato kaya sa atong level of responders, dili na kaya sa powers sa guidance counselor, dili na kaya sa powers sa social worker o sa nurse or kita nga mga responders. So there is a need for further katong gingon ganina nga advanced treatment, mao na nga kinahanglan sa i-refer for psychological assessment. So usa si just sa mga strategies nga himuon puhon depende sa assessment nato nga mga responders sa kahimtang sa atong fellow employee the time nga naapektuhan sila sa ilang mental health nga situations nga status sa ilang kinabuhi. So una, it could be a baseline sa matag employee because this is one of the requirements sa hiring, sa recruitment, sa placement. Ikaduha, this is one of the advanced treatment. I-refer nato for advanced treatment ang atong mga employees if nakita nato nga kinahanglan gajud sila mo undergo og psychological assessment. Thank you.
Ang sa ako lang para ni Ma'am Lita, Ma'am Liz, are you still there? Ma'am Liz, ang para siguro nga gusto lang makita ni Ma'am Lita is the structure, organizational structure as to where kinsa, asa, ug unsa ang dapat ma-addressan para dili ba magkatibulaag. So good na ang atong proseso, ang ato na lang pag-identify kinsa na o kinsa dito sa structure. Okay? Thank you, Ma'am Litz. Okay.
Follow.
Okay, Sir Rad. Sir Rad.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Well, are we still open for more point of clarifications, ma'am?
Not anymore, but yes.
Question ulit.
Ganun na picture dahil tamang barangon.
Ma'am Lita?
Yes.
Ma'am Lita. Go ahead, ma'am.
Ask ko lang. Makulit na, no? Ang expenses ba, if they are referred to professionals na outside of our expertise or outside of the school, will it be shouldered by the school pa or personal na ang nga expenses, ana? Kung adto na sa gawas, i-refer just like counseling, pag hindi na kaya ng counselor, automatic na siya, SOP talaga na i-refer to higher medical practitioners. No, so in the case of our employees na if dili na kaya ng counselor na need na i-refer to a psychiatrist or a psychologist outside of our university, so kinsa may mo shoulders sa ilang expenses. Kita pa ba, ang school pa ba, or personal na siya?
Yes, Sir Warren.
Yeah, can I answer that? Yes, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, first and foremost, our program is only to facilitate, no? Facilitate the person at risk or employee at risk to bring them to proper authorities, kumbaga. Okay? Um, with that context, man, kung sa pangutanan ni mo, Ma'am Litz, murag, um, since ours just facilitation, basically, dili na gud na siya ma-shoulder sa school, ma'am. But of course, tanawo na to what we can do to help the employee.
Yeah.
Kay kabalo naman ta nga once there is a person who is in need of something, muak manggid ta on a personal level, no? So nahitabo na ni nato, but if we should say that an allocation is intended for that purpose, I don't think so, ma'am. So wala tay allocation ana regarding sa treatment of the person at risk. Kay it involve manggod sa katong medical side na manggod. So kung adto ta sa atong kaban sa gobyerno, wala man ta. Even as employees, we don't have insurance for that purpose. So
Yes, sir. Yes,
mahitabo,
sir.
mura na siya mag-personal na, ma'am, on the part sa employee kung ma-refer na siya ngadto sa expert. But of course, dito sa atong level, tabangan na to. On a personal note na lang siguro na siya, ma'am, nga mutabang ta niya.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Kay
Because
usa man gud na sa hindrances ngano nga ang sa experience na ho as a counselor, pag i-refer na nato ang isang estudyante or ang parent mag-conference na mo sa parents, and then kausapin mo na yung parents na i-recommend nimo nga, oh, you have to bring your son or your daughter to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Muingon naman gyud sila na nga hindi namin pwedeng dalhin, ma'am, kasi wala kami budget. So parang top na doon, parang how are we going to?
Tapos i-clarify lang din natin, Ma'am Liz, that this meeting is more on the faculty and staff, not on the student or parents. But here,
sa ano lang ba?
yes, example natin. Yeah, but
example lang yon.
yes, but we social workers, we have here the referral expertise also with that. Lately, we had COVID cases, and then we have pneumonia cases, which we can do the referral, and it is a zero balance in the hospital bill. So we can do that maybe at a lower cost for the social workers who will assist if there will be cases arises, but hopefully not to the extent of the neuro or psychiatric, but for the first aid, then we can do things all right, and then on the next level we can talk during our case management.
Okay.
Hello Sir Rad.
Yes, sir, Daryl.
Kung i-follow up ang gi-point out ni Ma'am Stella, ang gitanaw masiguro nato ni ani no is kanabang we are looking at a scenario which is rare jud sa na case nga basig na ay moabot sa punto nga empleyado nga kinahanglan na gud ipa-psychological assessment, no. We are not praying for that, but it's a possibility that it will happen, no. Pero ang ato lang masiguro ani is that gi-clarify na ni Sir Warren nga our job is mainly to facilitate cases nga related ani, because first and foremost we have to bear in mind that there are facilities in the government which offers free psychological assessments such as the AVRMC, pero scheduled lamang siya. The thing here is that kanang ang ato laman ani is that the skills in referring, the skills in networking ani nga mga cases aron dili ta ingon nga diha ra kutob ang atong pagtabang nila. The fact gani nga ato silang gi-assist, the fact that we are there during those times sa ilang life is something na nga dako nagnatabang nato sa ilang kinabuhi. The mental health program is not a hero nga musulbad sa tanang mga problema sa atong mga empleyado in terms of mental health. It's somehow a program nga more on preventive side, and at the same time kung naa man gani mga cases, at least ma-facilitate nato sila sa proper nga paagi, sa proper nga
Professional
agency, sa
way.
sakto nga mga professional, and at the same time we can be there all throughout sa ilang na experience nga mental health issues, because mainly because they are our co-employees or fellow employees in the university. So mo na masiguro po ang atong hunahunahon nga yes, we have to think about it. Worst case scenario that siguro yung mga tao or empleyado na to pohon that needs psychological assessment, but nga to lang mga na is to prepare ourselves nga we need to have as early as now nga naa naman jud na approve naman ni nato nga program to have a directory sa katong mga agencies and professionals nga wherein we can communicate, we can contact, we can network with, so that we can refer directly our fellow employees. Nindot po itong gimension ni Ma'am Stella ganina nga there are like kami sa mga social workers na may tawag United RSWs that we have a group of social workers in the entire Region 8 nga ginahanglan og mga ingana nga mga services. We can communicate other social workers in other parts of the province in the Region 8 nga makatabang na mo labi nami i-refer nga mga kaubanan nato, mga clients nga ginahanglan og suporta or abag. So natay mga ingana nga mga networks that we have to maximize in the implementation. Lagi part sa atong strategy is the referral system. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you
Thank you,
so
sir.
much. Yes.
Thank you, Sir Daryl. Well, it looks like we have a very promising Pagtagad program, considering the level of interaction that we have right now. Even if we are still in our first phase of the implementation of the program, the orientation phase. Now, since the open forum is over, Ma'am Stella, is it finally over?
Yes, finally
Can-
over, but we can still have another round of photo ops for our campus director, to some others who are not here
Okay,
early.
so
Can
let's
we?
have our third round of photo
Oh,
shoot.
yeah, please.
May I request everybody to please turn on your cameras?
Okay. 1, 2, smile. Mom, where are you? The others, where are you? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. So, Mom Rio
Okay.
here.
All right. So for that, let's proceed to our closing remarks. Help me welcome Professor Veronica El Rioma, HRMO 3. Let us give a virtual applause.
Ang kamera ay kuan ni Ma'am.
Unmute, yeah, unmute. Good morning. We have a very good discussion this morning, and I really appreciated the organizing and the team. No, it's very nice. Actually, I presented a very few slides. I think 5 only. What pa din mo humano kay naman yung slides. Okay. So, what pa dyan ma-arrange? I just would like to what's this, to cite a very good motivational word kay during this time of pandemic, specifically the group, the team, Sir Warren, Ma'am Stel, and Sir Darrell. I would like to say that it's okay not to be okay. Naana siya kay drama, no? And I would like to emphasize the work of the ants. The ants will never quit. That's a good philosophy. If they're headed somewhere and you try to stop them, they'll look for another way. Okay, so sa mga questions ganina, daghan ka sa problema, but look at the ants. They'll climb over, they'll climb under, they climb around, and they keep looking for another way. So kung dili pwede na ako sa kaway, ngita taglay paagi, no, nga kanang makalusot to ding ato mga plano. Success in life can never be an accident. It is the result of right decisions at the right time. Champions are not the people who never fail, but the people who never quits. Diba? Okay, so usay ganing, dili kay fail lang, ma-fall pag yun. O, kay daghang mamira. Okay. Mental health. Even if all others tell you there is no hope, kung akong nakuha ganyan sa inyong mga discussion, but mentally, we believe there is still a way out. So, as an advocate of mental health, I would just like to ask these questions. We should assess it personally and institutionally. Are we an agent of mental health? Or are we the cause for others to ruin their mental health? So, gwapo kayo na siya question sa atong kaugalingon kung sa atong institusyon, no? Okay, I hope as an institution, ingon magbuto si Sir Darren kanina, we should start within. Di ba, sir, mo tayo imong matab ganina nga. Nag-touch ko adto. We should start within. Because we could not give what we do not have. We could not reach out if ourselves is also struggling. Specifically, if we talk about mental health. And this is really very, very timely at this time of the pandemic. Okay, thank you, speakers. Thank you, organizers and participants, for a job well done, specifically inspiring others. God bless us, everyone. Thank you very much. And good luck as LSU mental health team. Salamat
Thank you so
po.
much, Professor Veronica. Thank you all. Again, my name is Conrad. I am your moderator for today's webinar. Signing off.
Okay.
Take care, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Ma'am Tel, Sir Daryl.
Bye.
Thank you.
Sige. Salamat,
Thank
Sir
you so
Warren.
much.
Sir Dario, Ma'am Nick, salamat. Sige.
So kita na naman tulong mapabilin, ani.
Okay, tanggal mapabilin.
Okay. Aron, magplano na po ta unsay sunod. Planuhon na to. Salamat, Ma'am Lita. Sige.
Ma'am Lita, thank you so much, ma'am, sa imong mga insights and enlightening ng mga questions, clarifications.
Guidance kayos, ma'am. Good, pinag-guidance.
Parang ka RGC juga ado si ma'am.
Lagi. So, inspiring kaayo. Basta mao to, structure atong kulang, sir. Kinsa sa training, kinsa sa responders, kinsa nga na ba? Kaya aron dili sila mawa kung asa dapit. No? Salamat jud kaayo. Nya mo, lakaw nako kay napo ko'y papirmahan. Magpapirma pa ko.
Oto ang ato sa tong kuanon no katong imong nga form para makabaluta para specific ang atong next step na ihatag activity, ma'am, no? Training for ani sa responders, training for ani nga sa monitoring, psychological. Nindot na siya, ma'am, maayo na at least na divide na to, identify na to kung unsa gyud ang atong need.
Pero Ma'am Lit, nilakaw na si Ma'am Lit, siguro kinahanglan po ni og campus wide, for example, per campus, for example, si Ma'am Lita sa Hinunangan. Hinunangan to siya, sir, no? Hinunangan. So mag-schedule siya about aning mental health nato, pero na tayo organizational structure siguro, sir. No, kada campus na ba yung organization. Siya mo'y head. Siya na head sa kuan niya dahil na siya mga responder sa ubos. Nya kinsay unahon nilang i-training, unsa nga training ilang gusto, so mag-Google form puta nga unsay unang training katong yung psychosocial support first aid good pinakauna. O nya kinsa atong trainer si Jessa, ngana na ba, sir? Di ba?
Hindi na siya, ma'am. Yes. Na siya. Di ba, Sir Darrell? Pero ma'am, pwede siguro kining sa ako ra pud ni ma'am, no, just correct me if sakto bang akong i-suggest na kanang pagbuhat nato sa structure, ma'am, no, regarding ani mas maayo unta kung tuwa na to ang mga tao para makuha na to level of kung asa sila dapit ang head.
Ana para naay mga other huna-huna na pod kay na may wala ni tambong karon god mga taga-Buntok, silang Peter Dadios, ana. So, para dili unfair, para fair sa tanan, naa sila. May atong buhaton sunod. So, mag-feedbacking pamanta, mag-imo pamantag evaluation ni ani kung unsa ang nahitabo. Total, naka-recording pamandi ini, oy, ma-record atong ipangsulti, nas live, YouTube. Sorry kaayo, sorry. Sorry kayo.
Dili ko ani si Jack kanang didot kuan si Jack kanang part ni si Jack sa atong kuan online coverage. All broadcast ga
Oh,
kuan kanang
oh.
broadcast meeting plan